Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the Future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And this is episode 87.
Weird. I feel like I said that for 77.
What's that, weird?
Like, yeah, it's just, I feel like those numbers sound weird.
Because we're getting close to the 90s. But you know why 87's so dope?
Why?
Because I was born in 1987. Yeah!
I knew the answer to that.
Yeah, thank you for the listeners' sake.
Me? Why?
Yeah. Why then, son?
Why, Si?
Like I
What's
didn't
so
produce
great
a whole
about
episode.
87?
I didn't hear it in pre-production. But
like I didn't hear you bitch about how your birthday episode wasn't on the 87.
I know. It's spelled. I mean, it's continued. But
it's still. You're like, it's my birthday month.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, because we're both like that.
We have to do that.
We're such bitches.
I had to start it off with a vibe because 87 being a special number for me. Actually, I wanted to play something special because today is actually 12 years since my dad passed. So rest in peace, Baba. I love you.
Much love.
This episode is dedicated to my pops and all the people that I've lost and all the people, that everyone has lost. Shout out to the memories and stuff. That song is actually really important in my life. No pun intended, by the Beatles, because not only did at first time I heard it, it was in, my car, in the car with my dad on a long trip, to a family member's house, hearing that song and just remembering as a kid, oh my God, this is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. I ended up learning it on piano as I grew up, and I was asked to sing it at our graduation when in high school. So I sang it with on a piano in front of the whole school with a choir and everything like that. So fast forward to my sister's wedding about 2 years ago. And she asked me to do the father-daughter dance with her. And I picked that song. And I recreated it for us to dance together in memory of my dad. So it's one of those songs that
I'm gonna cry this episode.
I'm
Thanks.
sorry.
I'm gonna cry probably multiple times.
Okay.
But
well, you can. I'll allow it. But yeah, no. I honestly I get sad about it too. It's weird.
Sad and beautiful though.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those songs that actually talks about the memories and all that. So, the way I've lost a lot of people in my life. Last week we talked about me losing my uncle. His funeral is going to be this week, and unfortunately I'm back in Atlanta now and I won't be able to make it. It's just been a lot of traveling back and forth. Yeah,
I get it.
But I knew that he knew how much I loved him and vice versa. And, so it's just one of those things where when you lose a lot of people, you start trying to find the reasoning of the meaning of life and all that type of stuff. And to me, I've gotten it to the point where you mourn people who have lost, and it sucks that they're not around anymore, but I really find joy in the fact that they're up in heaven, wanting you to live life, because if they're up there and they can't talk to you, they're no, don't be sad, be happy, you know what I'm saying? That's the last thing that they'd want you to be, right? It's
exactly.
Sad about things and stuff. So I live life for the people I lost, and every time I lose one, it's just another person that I'm absorbing and living for them. So that's kind of what that song means to me, and I'm sure I've already in 30 years of my life, it has multiple meanings. I'm sure it'll have more meanings as life continues. But
that's awesome.
I just wanted to say, I love you to all my family, and appreciate the ones that are still here. Appreciate people that you still have around and stuff. Because
call your mom.
Right. I mean, think about the people that you've been being I can call them later. Anytime I think that nowadays, I just pick up the phone and call now, because it's just there might not be a later. It doesn't matter how old people are and stuff.
I feel like I got that way when I used to do journalism, and I used to have to do beat reporting for just you have to pick up obituaries and stuff like that, and we did what we were called life stories at the newspaper I worked at in college. And so they're elongated more story obituaries. I remember I had to write one about a young a teenager, this teenage boy who killed himself. And I remember he reminded me a lot of one of my younger brothers, and I remember that was the moment that I was I need to like talk to my brothers more. Like, and I don't even consider like myself like not close with my brothers. Like I think we're very close. But like even like some of the shit that's been going on in my life right now, and I just like feel like I've become disconnected, and it's like always like kind of like you don't want like that, like you don't want to have that be like a reminder. Like you want to like make sure you're like talking to the people.
It's normal. I mean, even if the way I look at it though, like even if you did talk to someone every day, you're still gonna be like, I wish I did more. So it's like, no matter what you did, like, you know, there's always like, you know, you just have to, when at the end of the day, be happy with the way you're interacting with the people you love.
I agree.
You know, like when it comes to these moments and stuff, like it's like I pushed through like all that, like literally my sister just had like a baby and stuff. Her feet were like really big. Like, sorry if she's like, oh, don't be telling people how big my feet got, but they got huge. And they were dry. And she was like, you know, I'm sure Victor would have done it, but like I offered like to rub her feet with like lotion and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, I did it lovingly because it's like, you know, some people be like, I ain't touching your feet, you're my sister, like all that stuff. Like, no, like, you know, there's gonna be like a time where, you know, I'm gonna wish that I had, you know, done all these things for her, you know what I'm saying? So you know, so you just, and we say all this not to like start to show off on a downer.
Like look at us. We've been like to like
it's
really
been a rough
preface
2 weeks,
really preface it for everybody. Like Sai and I have been going through it in our own separate lanes of life right now, and like that's real. Like I feel like a lot of times like we talk about like the fun stuff. Like I did plenty of fun shit this past weekend. I had a lot of fun. I danced with my dance friends. I went out to bars. My friend Knip came into town. I did a lot of drinking and whatever and things like that. But I feel like I don't want it to always just be like, this isn't just like a highlight reel. Yeah. You know, like we've got real shit.
Yeah. I mean, I've always intended the show to be more transparent than, you know, we don't say everything. Like we have to have a little animosity.
Like if you know us, you know us. Like you might know some shit that we've got going on, but like
I mean anonymity, but you know, like, but I do want to talk about like how real it is, because like our lives, I think it's pretty incredible. We still, or like last week I was able to still do a show with like, you know, people. This week you're able to do a show with me. Like, I don't know. This is kind of therapeutic for us in a way too, to talk about this stuff with each other. It's our time to be able to catch up. So, you know, I guess like, you know, I guess on a lighter note, I know I want to ask you, how have you been? But it hasn't been probably that great. I know you said you did some fun stuff. Shout out to Knip that was in town. I love Knip.
And I got to go in the Millennial Match game this past week.
The show that I was on a couple weeks ago.
That he was on. And it was a lot of fun. And I realized that I got some more stuff than Sai got out of it. Like they had dinner at the station that I got to eat.
I was hungry.
And they gave me a gift card to go to a steakhouse.
Which I didn't get.
We're going to a steakhouse.
I guess we're going. I'm still going, but
and,
like,
and also I got posted on Mark Aram's on his Instagram. So I don't.
I got a bone to pick with Mark. So, but that's pretty cool.
And then I also because things have been a little crazy. I thought about doing this, and I just did it. My friend Mackenzie hit me up on Monday, and she was like, hey, like the Jonas Brothers concert's tomorrow, were you going? She's like, I just bought a random ticket. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a random ticket. We were like several rows apart, and we tried to hang out for a bit, but then some stupid bitches bought the 2 open seats that were right next to like Mackenzie. So I was like, fuck.
You know exactly who they were now post concert, but
yeah, we're like, damn it. So I like got to go to the Jonas Brothers concert, which was a lot of fun. Which, fun fact, their openers, besides like BB Rexa, who also, like, fun fact about BB Rexa, she wrote what is it? Like goes friends with a monster. Is it called just Monster by like Rihanna and Eminem?
Yeah.
She wrote that song.
I thought that was written by John Bellion.
Maybe they're both writers on it.
Maybe.
John Bellion writes a lot of songs. He wrote Halsey's Graveyard too. Yeah. Anyways,
he's been writing some good ones. He wrote the memories for Maroon 5.
But they were one of their openers is Jordan McGraw, which is Dr. Phil's son. So that's why like their families are super close. I was like, what the fuck? And then also they had like a DJ who honestly knew his audience so damn well, because like all of us bitches were going crazy, because like he would be like, he'd go from seamlessly transition like Spice Girls into like Cardi B into like Sweet Caroline into
knows.
like whatever. So like, you know, in this arena full of mostly women, there is, you know, maybe like, if I'm going to be generous, I'll say 3% of the population there is men. I'm going to say mostly women. Like, and women more from like probably ages like 17 up until their mid 30s. So like people who either got on the late end of the Jonas Brothers, and then like girls who were like, you know, on the beginning end, like me. But like did a great job. And that DJ is Kevin Jonas's wife's brother. We're like, who are, they're just like, it's like a family affair. But it was that was a lot of fun. But like, I guess like my not so great shit right now is that like I'm like, for lack of better term, I'm being ghosted by my boyfriend of 10 months.
Okay.
So
I didn't know we were gonna talk about it, but this is good.
I just thought I'd say it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about having a boyfriend on the show, so I just thought I'd say it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's bullshit. I've been really, you know, upset about it with you, you know. It's just not cool. Like I mean, you know, we don't have to like dwell on it too much, but to me, it's just like, you definitely deserve, you know, better, at least a conversation of what's going on, and everyone deserves that, really. And you know, you just deserve better in general with the whole thing. And I'm just sorry you're dealing with that. You know. Yeah, I mean, that's why this show started this way, guys. Like, you know, we've been through a lot. But we appreciate you guys, like, you know, reaching out and listening and, you know, hearing us, you know, kind of go through a shitty week, you know?
Yeah.
I know that everything will work out eventually and stuff. And, you know, I'm sure you'll get some closure at one point, but like the biggest thing is just like be strong and you know feel your feelings, and also just, you know, think about yourself. Like, you know, this is a time to just not, you know, worry about anything, but always, like we were talking about before, you know, remember how you feel right now, because these people come back around once they're done being an asshole.
I mean, especially like we've talked about cuffing season and stuff before. Like, this is definitely the time that, even like my situation's a little different, but like still, like, this is the time of year where toxic people from your past tend to like roll back into your life, or try to roll back into your life, because like everyone's feeling some kind of way.
That,
like,
or toxic people are like can roll out of your life too. Like, you know, like, cuffing season kind of does that to people
it's
too.
It's like either cuffing season or breaksgiving. You know?
Damn.
So like,
yeah,
I'm leaning a little towards breaksgiving right now.
Right.
So,
well, you know, we didn't think it was a bad idea to write down like how you feel, like journal it and stuff, so you can like not forget, because like people can tend to forget to like, or, you know, think that they're forgiving because they're not so much in the moment anymore, and they've, you know, it's not so hurtful, but like you have to know like how
and then it's
feel.
easy for your brain to like go back to like the good times, obviously. Like, I feel like we've all,
especially when someone's like, you know, I'm sorry, I messed up, or like, you know, I needed this. It's like, no,
I just,
you know what I'm saying? Like, people deserve to have a conversation, and I feel like you didn't get that, and not cool. So you will definitely, everything will be all right. You got me, V. I love you.
I know, and I got you too.
I mean, really, for me, I'm back from Orlando. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought about last week's episode with the ex and Felicia. You know, give another shout out to them for, you know, stepping up. It's really cool to be able to go to Orlando and have like a host there that knows the show and can really like talk about topics.
I feel
and
like
stuff.
you need to like promote Felicia to that stat. No offense, Natasha. I think like Natasha did great, like, because she knew like she knew like the flow of everything. But Felicia like definitely like stepped up to the plate, and I was like here for it, and I was here for like her being like very like out, like saying like what she wanted to say, and like going in, and like she challenged you a couple times and like asked you questions, be like, no, like you can't like back down from like saying this or whatever. So
what are you talking about, virginity?
and stuff like that. So I definitely thought that was interesting, and I mean, it was the whole like T.I. Hyman conversation. Like, you read my little rant, and you were right, I meant to say doesn't, and it's just I can't.
Yeah. I mean, I know you have strong thoughts on that, but, you know, specifically last week, you know, the main topic we had was around Minnie Mae.
See, that was the thing. I when I was listening, I was like, they don't know how to sing it with him.
Yeah, like Natasha just didn't even say her name at the beginning. I'm like, my name is Sai. Crickets, like, you know. So,
what if and you're like, and it's just me.
Yeah, it's just me. Honestly, dude, I'm not putting it past me. I might have one episode in the future where it's just me.
In the future, Bachelor.
Oh, nice! I got it. Okay. But yeah, no, we had the main topic about like weddings and wedding dates, and really, maybe you could give your like 2 cents on that, because like that topic really came out of something you were going through and stuff. So what do you think about the conversation, and what do you think about the topic of significant others and weddings, and when is it time to go and date, like with your date? Do you ask as a date if you're dating, all that stuff?
I liked some of their points, because like I guess like I didn't initially, when I brought up the idea of a topic, I didn't initially think about the whole from the wedding planning expectation.
That's the way Felicia kind of started it off.
Which I guess like I was more framing it as like you already have plus ones. Like they've already budgeted for you. Mm-hmm. Like I think it's rude. Like I've had actually like a guy friend once bring like a plus one to like our friend's wedding when like it was all of us as a group going. Yeah. And like he didn't like really have a plus one. So like none of us were using our plus ones, because like why would we? It was like a whole group of us. Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of weird. So like that to me, I feel like that's like kind of being rude, and if that's kind of like being like, okay, like I just want to bring this girl that I've been, and he had only been like casually dating her, like it was like kind of like, okay, so you're gonna bring her to like hook up with her, like because you want to like bring her around, and like it was a disaster. It was like, so like I feel like it could go really really bad, like where like she was a mess, like nobody liked her, it backfired, he shouldn't have even brought her, or like then there's like where you actually have like a plus one, and like it comes down to being like, okay, like how long have you been dating someone? Or like I liked kind of like the example that you guys brought up with like you and Natasha, how like you guys had been like on and off, and then like you guys were on, and she discussed like she was close with the bride and whatever, and like then you were fine and it was good to go. But I guess like for my situation, it was more like, like you get like somebody got invited to a wedding back like when we had first started dating, and so like initially wasn't gonna bring me because we had just started dating, but then like it had been we had been dating for like right about now, so like nearly 10 months, and like didn't even tell me that like he wasn't gonna bring me. And I think that was like the bigger issue, is like he had made plans to stay with people and do whatever, and like for me it's like it's understandable if it's like, even like I've been to weddings recently where it's like I'm staying with a whole group of friends, I could make it work where I just get my own room, like whatever, like we're adults, we could pay for our own stuff, and if we can't, then like that's a whole other issue. But I feel like it's like comes down to being like, for you and Natasha with that situation, like it was communicated, you guys talked about it, and then like it was worked out so that you would be there. And it's like for my situation, it was like nothing was communicated to me. Like it would almost be even better, like I would understand being like, hey, like I made these plans way back whenever. It like I don't want to like back out of them now. It's gonna be too hard to do whatever. Blah 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 blah. Sorry, I can't take you, but in the future, like I think it's all like about like then like how do you carry that forward? Like especially like with how long you've been dating.
This can't become a pattern.
Like and it's like kind of like I feel like around the like 10-month to year period, or maybe I'll even like scoosh it up to like 8 months maybe. I feel like that's like when, if you have weddings and like you've been invited to weddings, you're going to weddings, like, and you have a significant other, you've been dating for that long, I feel like that should be a conversation.
It's a power move too, because like you think about like, you have to make sure that like the relationship, you know the status of where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing someone to a wedding is a big deal, unless the only like I think where it's on like the people getting married to like really understand their guests. Like the one I went up to in my hometown.
Yeah, like when you don't like have anyone
I didn't
else.
know anybody. Like you know what I'm saying? Yes, it's in my hometown, but like I didn't know anybody. I mean, I knew people at the wedding that were friends and stuff, but they all had their significant others. So it's like, Sai, do you want to like bring like a plus one? It doesn't have to be a girl.
Like even a friend, like my friend Michelle took me to one of actually like a friend that we knew from like high school to her wedding, because
I'd actually rather do that.
Because like I was close, plus like, and she had a boyfriend, but like similar thing, like she had just started dating the boyfriend when like she got picked to be a bridesmaid and whatever, and she's like, I don't really want to bring him into this situation because he won't know anybody here.
He'll be by kind of by himself.
Yeah,
I'm
like you'll know people, and she's like, also like you can sit with all the bridesmaids dates like and make conversation with these boys,
Right.
and I was like, yeah, I can. So like that, like I understand like that situation, like, and so that's why I'm like, yeah, toss a +1. Like my friend Adam took me as his +1 to a wedding like a couple years back because he knew because it was in Birmingham, Alabama. And he's like, okay, well, he's like I'm not gonna know that many people there. And I have a +1 and you're close. Like, would you want to come with me? Like, it'll be fun. It's at a little brewery in Alabama. Like, well, what, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I can go with you. Like, whatever. And like, we had a great time. So I feel like that's like definitely like, it comes down to like, do you have a +1? Like, should you be getting a +1? And like, kind of that whole dynamic.
Yeah. Well, you were missed last week.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
But you guys had fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like, you know, yeah, it was cool to be able to catch up with them and always to do something new. So, you know, now that I caught my flight back, you know, from Orlando, Atlanta, we might as well take that flight to
We'll take
quick hits.
all of our miles.
Yeah, what do we got for some quick hits? B?
Okay, I'll skip down to the second one. Demi Lovato. She debuted her new boyfriend. He's a model.
Okay.
He's a model. He's got like pink hair. He looks like the kind of guy that you're like, for someone who's sober, maybe like he's like someone who she shouldn't be with. But I guess he's also like either sober, he like is stopping drinking or whatever and stuff for Demi. Like he seems like they went on a nice hike recently together. They were like really cute.
I wonder how Mike's feeling right now at an all-time low. Mike from The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Bachelorette.
Yeah, well, that's what you get, Mike.
Yeah. You really messed that one up.
You messed it up. So
I felt like he kind of used Demi too. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm
which is
saying?
like rude.
They kind of used each other at first, but it felt like he was like hanging on to that a little bit.
Yeah, well,
too
yeah,
long.
he's like, Demi Lovato,
Yeah.
she's a great kisser, blah, blah, blah. But like, so, you know what? I'm happy for Demi. Some people are like, do you think she got into like, do you think she's like dating too soon after like coming back from rehab and like whatever and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel like we have to trust her and also like the new, like, you know, her redefined circle of people that she's like her family and whoever she's made sure to surround herself with now. Like, I feel like we can't sit here and be like, is Demi ready to date? Like, she's an adult.
Yeah.
Like, has she had her struggles? Yeah, but I feel like we got to be like, yeah,
Right.
like if this person.
Speaking of good kissers, famous pop star singer, good kissers. What's going on with your girl Selena Gomez?
Selena, you know, she's really good friends with, I think, is it Julie or Julia Michaels? I don't know.
Julia.
Julia. I was right. Okay, I was making sure.
Julie Michaels, I think, is an actress.
Yeah.
I think. Julia.
Anyways,
Michaels.
Julia Michaels, she sings with her. They have a song together. They've been like really good friends for a while, I guess, and I didn't even know that they've been best friends for so long. But they.
I really like Julia Michaels, by the way. Like, she has
Yeah.
that one song with that dude from One Direction, Neil something. But Niall.
She has a song with him. She has a
What
song
a time,
with.
what a time,
I
what
think
a
she has a
time.
song with Lauv.
Yeah.
And she's cool. She writes good music. They're like really good friends. And like there was a picture of them like kissing on the lips and people like freaked out. But it's like they're just really like they're friends. Like it's just like, and it reminded me of like this. I guess meme is like the wrong word for it, but like it's a meme that I see shared around like Instagram a lot. That's like, you know, like let's not stigmatize like being, you know, affectionate to our friends and like kiss our friends on the faces. More like Sai and I kiss each other on the cheek all the time. I don't think that's weird.
I'll give you little forehead kisses when you need them.
Yeah, and then they also like got matching tattoos like backstage at one of Julia Michaels' shows.
Damn,
so,
okay.
Like little
You know
arrows
it's real.
pointing to each other.
Okay.
So they're not a couple, but it's official.
Oh, our boy Pete Davidson's back.
Our favorite serial monogamist,
Yeah.
Pete Davidson, is dating Kaya Gerber, better known as Cindy Crawford's beautiful supermodel daughter, who is just 18.
Oh, so how do you feel about this?
I mean, okay, so she's legal, right?
Now.
Right. And
Like less than a year ago, no.
yeah, like less than like maybe like 6 months
That's
ago.
how stupid the 18 thing is. Like, I don't I mean, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, yeah, you don't want to hook up with kids, but like over like a 24-hour period, you're 17 years old and then you're 18. Statutory rape and completely
age
legal.
Age is a construct, man. No, I'm kidding.
You don't say it though. It's like really weird.
It
The
is
society
weird.
we live in. Like, oh, like it's just like, okay, now we're okay.
Yeah, it is. I feel like I've always had like a struggle with that, especially because like some states it kind of differs. Like in some states you can like legally consent if you're like 16 or something or like whatever. It's like kind of weird, and like I'm like, how do we determine this? Like why? And I'm like, is this because like we want these like, you know, young women getting married to old like I'm like it becomes like a whole like weird freaky patriarchy thing if you like you really think about it. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I feel like they're an interesting couple. Like that BDE that Pete Davidson has, like he snags like some real hotties, and like I sort of get it, but I sort of don't.
All right, well, this one I can completely get. She's a young girl that looks at Pete Davidson like, oh my God, the guy that dated Ariana Grande? Yeah, I want that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's
true.
the messed up part about dating a young girl. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's not like this is going to last forever or anything
I know,
like that.
I mean, like, and he's like not like super old. It's not like he's like a bajillion years older than her, but he's like.
How old is he?
I think he just turned 27 or 26.
Okay. Well,
So he's like my age, a little bit
still
older.
though, like it's
like
bad.
they're maybe like 8 to 9 years.
I'm
apart.
32, so that's like 5 more years. If I
Yeah.
dated an 18-year-old, what would you say?
Well, yeah, I'd be weirded out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be weirded out.
Okay. Well, if you dated an 18-year-old, I would be weirded out too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not out here trying. I want somebody who can actually get it. I mean, I guess if you're like Kaya Gerber, you can get into a bar. But like,
Yeah.
I'm out here being like,
But damn, Cindy Crawford's like spitting image, like, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Actually, Cindy Crawford's still hot, which is crazy.
Cindy Crawford, yeah, she can still get it.
Yeah.
Like, she looks great.
That might be a name of the episode. Cindy Crawford is still hot.
Cindy Crawford.
I'm writing it. But what else do we got? Oh, I was just about to say though, as far as Pete Davidson, it's really weird, like his role on Saturday Night Live. It's like he's a comedian, but like he's not like they throw him in like random.
I feel like he does
scenes.
a lot more of like digital
He's there
shorts.
to like no, he's like there
he's
to
like
be
a
like
character. He's like in himself.
His
Like,
biggest thing that he does is when he like goes on and is himself on
Weekend Update,
and stuff.
which I
but,
love that.
You know, like his roles, like he's not a good actor. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not like really funny in like the roles he does really. He just plays himself, like a very self-deprecating version of himself
yeah,
on the show.
I wonder what him and like Lauren Michaels have worked out just because
Oh,
it's like,
it's Pete Davidson is like that young, hot, like, you know, fresh face. Like, you know, he's like what brings the girls to Saturday Night Live. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which is weird.
it's a thing though, because there's a lot of my friend
Like,
Maggie that you
Jimmy
met.
Fallon was like that, like back in
Yeah.
the day and
Yeah.
stuff. You
It's
know,
like-
Adam Sandler was like that back in the day.
It's like
and
that same kind of look. They look kind of like tired and greasy, and you're just kind of like, wow.
Pete's the greasiest of them all.
Oh
though.
yeah, Pete's like the most tired and greasy one of them all. Like he definitely like has that like tired boy like
Yeah.
but I love you look, and you're like, oh wow, like but did you sleep? Like
How do you think Ariana Grande feels right now?
you know, she was just in Atlanta. She was
I bet
singing.
she's just like, I'm very happy for Pete.
I feel like
I just
whatever.
want him to be happy.
She actually brought out Liz Gillies from when they were on Victorious together out at her Atlanta show.
Okay.
And like they sang one of their songs from Victorious together. Super fun. Love that shit. Nickelodeon fans. Speaking of Nickelodeon, I forgot to put this on the
I forgot
thing,
to talk about it
but, like,
too.
here we are.
Here, let's go. Let's talk about some streaming wars.
So Nickelodeon
Struck a deal with Netflix. Yes.
Because like that's their way to like level up to Disney.
I mean,
I don't think you can level up to Disney.
You can't level
Plus.
up, but if that was a very smart move. Like,
Smart
think about
move.
it. Like, our childhood was Nickelodeon, the competition to Disney. Like, Nickelodeon really never had a chance, but like, there was a time where Nickelodeon was huge. Like, you know, they had a Nickelodeon theme park, I think, at one point.
And they had the Nickelodeon.
Universal Studios was like where they filmed all the Nickelodeon stuff. So
I
that
feel
was
like I've passed by where they used to have like the Nickelodeon, like the big like resort in Orlando, and like now it like you could tell like they like kept a lot of like the architectural integrity, but they've like repainted.
Universal
things.
should team up with Netflix too.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But
create more
you know,
of that kind of
Netflix has,
stuff.
or Nickelodeon has a lot of IP that comes with it. You
True.
can do all that. Doug, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, all these shows that like, you know, people are
Pinky and the
loving
Brain.
and stuff. And they have like some, Pinky. Well, I think Pinky and the Brain is
Was that-
WB.
Oh, it is, yeah. Warner Brothers.
But
Shit.
they should link up with WB too. You know what I'm saying? But
No, WB has their own
Clarissa
shit.
Explains It All.
Ginger!
Salute Your Shorts. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Dark, yeah.
You know, all these different things. I don't even
Rugrats.
know. Rugrats. I said that first, but
I love Rugrats. I am Angelica.
yeah. But yeah, so I mean, a very smart move on. It definitely got into headlines. So smart move by Netflix.
Yeah, and now I have both, so.
Yeah. Well, you know, I have both.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Natasha's dad for that.
I texted my family being all like, hey, like, we should get a family plan. Because, like, we're a big Disney family,
Yeah.
so, like, we should get a family plan.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was literally, like, coming home from, like, her friend's dad's wake.
Yeah.
And, like, she's like, let me look when I get home. I'm like, oh, Mom, like, no rush. I was just asking. Like, literally, like, 10 minutes later, she's like, okay, here's the login. Make a profile.
Yeah.
I'm the evil queen.
That's
on it.
awesome.
But yeah, no, so you know it's real. So you know, some Disney Plus and chill.
Well,
see.
like, let's talk about some more pop star news. What's going on in the world of Taylor Swift?
Ugh, what isn't, honestly? So the forever ongoing Big Machine / Scooter Braun versus Taylor Swift wars blew up even bigger. So because she is getting awarded Artist of the Decade at the AMAs.
Wow.
Right. And so, like, part of that is, like, she's getting her own performance. So, obviously, she's doing a medley. But because pretty much all of her...
Why does she get Artist of the Decade? Why not, like, Drake?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't make these decisions.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
I mean, like, think about it. Like, she came back on the scene. Like,
No.
It's, like, very...
She's all right, but, like, dude, Drake is, like, held down, like, for, like, almost, like, over 400
This
weeks.
is the first time I've never thought I would hear you, like, fighting for, like, Drake.
I'm just saying, I know, but I'm just saying, like, Taylor Swift is the Artist of the Decade. Like, I could probably name you, like, 3 other people that, like, I think would be better.
There's
like,
plenty of
Kanye
it.
West, like, you know what I'm saying?
Honestly, like, Ariana Grande could be Artist of the Decade.
I mean, that's, like, right up there with Taylor Swift for me, actually. Like, you know, both of them, like, I mean, they're great, but, like, I don't know.
Who else, like, if we're gonna go pop, who else could be Artist of the Decade right now?
Artist of the Decade, probably, like, I mean, Alpha Accolades, not Justin Bieber, but,
no.
like,
Never seen, never. But his albums are great. He could be Artist of the Decade.
I don't know. I mean, Drake was really held down, like, the king reign there for a long time, so
True.
it's still going.
But anyway, so Taylor Swift is getting it.
Yep.
And so she's going to be performing. So you would say performing a medley of, like, you know, her songs throughout the decade. But because of how the
Things went down.
Yes, how the licensing works with, like, how, you know, she left Big Machine and then Scooter Braun bought Big Machine, and because of, like, all the contracts and stuff, like,
All her masters are still with Big Machine.
with them. So that's
So
everything but Lover. So
Yeah.
like her entire catalog. And so
can they really stop her from performing that
so
song?
because of, like, the contracts and everything, like, what the thing is like, technically, if she was performing, if it was just live, it'd be fine. But because technically how it works, like, you know, it's live on the East Coast, but technically when it like is played back on the West Coast. So because that then counts as, like, a recording, and she technically can't re-record any song until, like, next November per the contract. Like, that's how it's, like, a lot of fine print. Like, obviously, like,
I mean, they could let her do it, but
And
they
so-
won't let her do it
so they
because of
were-
all the drama she caused, like,
So-
a couple months ago, right?
So it was a whole thing. So she, you know, Taylor Swift, knowing her audience, took to Twitter, posted a whole, like, you know, couple, like, image posts, like, of her notes, like, talking about, like, I don't know what else to do. Pretty much asking her fans to be like, hey, like, if you want to hear me actually, like, perform these things, because, like, the thing is, like, she could perform them technically, re-record it, like, and then whatever, but, like, then I think technically, like, they're gonna get money for it, because then it's, like, technically, you know, they're gonna get money for her performing her own songs.
Whatever.
So, but, like, because of her being her, she obviously doesn't want to do that. She wants to, like, she wants to be whitelisted for that, because she's like, you shouldn't be getting paid for me singing my songs for an award that I'm receiving, which I could get. And like a bunch of like Halsey and Selena Gomez and whatever like posted stuff to their stories being all like, we gotta support Taylor, we gotta do like whatever, like this bullshit, blah 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 blah. But so you know, Swiftie fans.
It just sounds like she's not on top of her business.
Swiftie fans took to she's the queen of playing the victim. Queen of, like, she's made her career off of playing the victim.
Yeah.
She's damn good at it. And she's damn good at it this time because she got all of her fans to rally, say shit, to the point where they are allowing her, let me say, blah, 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 but,
no, literally.
So, like, they might be letting her do it. So, but it says like, although Swift can now, as per Big Machine's statement, she can perform them. So like they came back being like, hey, we'll let you do it. Like we're gonna give you.
I thought their initial response from like Big Machine and stuff was like, we don't have that control, but like
their
also
big response was like, their initial response was like, you're acting like we're holding like all your music hostage, whatever, like you can technically perform it, but like, you know,
business is business. You're gonna make money. Well, to me, I think she plays the victim too much. Like she should chill on all that and just do what you know what I'm saying. Like
she's about to be 30.
I mean, obviously you're not the artist of the decade if you can't even perform your own songs. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's just a lot wrong there. Taylor Swift is a bunch of like I don't know if this is winning right now. Like, you know, it's bringing in more drama like around the celebration of what's supposed to be like a moment for her and stuff.
Yeah, like supposed to be a big accomplishment, and I feel like I get like maybe in her standpoint, like she's like, I don't want this accomplishment to be shadowed by the fact that, you know, they have all my music, they have all my whatever, but.
So you're saying like if this was next year, she re-records all her music, she would have no problem singing them again.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. So we'll see what happens with that.
We'll see what happens. But I mean, I'm sure the AMAs are loving this because now everybody's
talking about it and want to see what she's going to perform.
Yeah, people are going to definitely tune in more. Yeah. Come on.
So let's talk about a little sports.
Sprots.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I've been seeing some crazy things.
Some sprots. So there's been a whole big thing. So there was a game between the Browns and who was it? Hang on, I'm like getting my life together. And the Steelers, I believe. Yeah. So Myles Garrett is a player for the Browns who there was a little fight that happened during like the end of the game between them and the Steelers. And so there was a brawl between him and then Mason Rudolph, who was on the Steelers, and like it kind of broke out and whatever. But Myles Garrett tore off Mason Rudolph's helmet from his head and whacked him over the head with it, which is like a brutal. Like you just can't do that. Yeah. So now he's right now being suspended indefinitely. Mason Rudolph wasn't gonna like
press charges.
Like, yeah, he's not pressing charges or anything like that. He's like, you know, like we were both in the fight.
I mean, like, from what it looks like, it looked like he started it too. Like, I think I saw like slow down things where like he like kicked them into like nuts or something like that and all this different stuff. So it's like, you know, but you know, the NFL, I mean, that's like a deadly weapon, right? I mean, those helmets are meant to like take hits and really hard hits and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, and just the amount of like...
You seen the video of the guy slamming the helmet on the table?
Yeah.
Or on the chair and it broke?
Yeah.
He's like, that hurt.
And like the amount of like... yeah, because like, I mean, helmets these days have had to get like so good at their job because like people keep getting bigger and stronger and the game keeps getting more and more tough to the point where like that's why like there was a whole epidemic of like these football players who would get horrible concussions and all this brain damage and like go crazy and kill themselves and things like that. Like
for what? So that's like, you know, why it was great for like, you know, the college, you know, football league to be starting to like actually pay these people, because, you know, that's happening at a college level. And what are they getting? A degree? That's all they're doing. They're giving their whole lives like for like what, you know what I'm saying, just to get like brain damage. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, you know, you want to be a tough guy, like, you know, sports is sports, but like that's what it is. Otherwise, like, go and box or go and wrestle and stuff if that's your sport, because this is not what that is and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
it's crazy to see.
It's not hockey where they allow all that and everything.
I mean, they don't allow all that.
Well, I mean, they let a lot more fights happen in hockey than they would in any other sport.
I mean, yeah, but they still pull back. Like, I mean, I watch hockey. Like, you still, like, you get penalties.
I
like,
watch it too. I've seen a lot more fights happen on hockey than any other sport.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, it's just a different thing, though. Like, you know, people shouldn't be hurting each other. Like, you know, out here, there's kids watching. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of example are you guys being? I know.
Think about, like, just the amount of violence that, like, think about the kind of video games that kids play. Like, violence is glorified. And, I mean, it's glorified in sport. That's why it's like kind of like sometimes when this kind of stuff happens, you have to like really take a step back and you have to be like, we can't allow this to keep happening.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sucks for that dude. You know, one moment can really affect the rest of your life. Like, you know, you made it that far just to...
He might not be getting like suspended forever, because there's like another case that was from like 2013 where something similar happened and like he got off for it, whatever. So I think they're going to be using that to like help him not be suspended indefinitely. Because I mean, like, think about it, like for sports, like that's why like famous sports stars like to kind of like keep their wealth going, like they do like, you know, like Papa John's commercials, or they do like whatever, or they start owning franchises like Shaq and like whatever. Like once you like can't play the sport anymore, like you gotta figure out how to keep that money flow coming, because
I think that's like anything nowadays though too. Like even if you're like a singer, like, or a rapper or something like that, like you gotta find like different ways, especially rap music.
You gotta differentiate those investments.
You can't be like a 60-year-old rapper, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know.
Diversify your portfolio.
You could be like a 60-year-old. Yeah, you gotta be a 60-year-old like a rock star, I guess, because the Rolling Stones are still going strong. Like those motherfuckers could like
actually
croak.
Yeah, rap is like the hardest one. For some reason, like it's corny to be like a 60-year-old rapper, but like it's not corny to be a 60-year-old rock singer.
It's because of like how
and
the
their
form,
fake long hair dyed and just like whatever. So your girl Selena, more news about her. What's this about with Bella?
So okay, her like, so you know, everyone like they refollowed each other. Selena and Bella did, and they're both, none of them are dating The Weeknd anymore. Yeah, which The Weeknd, where it's a new album, I need it in this time of my life. But
oh, is that why they hated each other?
Well, I mean, I feel like they just like they weren't close because they dated Abel and whatever, and so they refollowed, and she did a heart eye emoji on one of like Bella's recent pics, and then Bella deleted it, and not long after Selena commented on it, which is shady, and then so fan accounts, you know, screenshotted the comment and everything before it was deleted, being like, oh, like, are they friends again, or like, are they friends? And I guess like on one of them, Selena had commented like, that sucks, crying face emoji, and so like then that became like a whole thing, being like, well, what is she saying that sucks, like what's going on? So I don't know, I feel like it got blown out of proportion, being like it's a feud, which I was like, no, I kind of feel like it's just a misunderstanding. Like, why did she? Yeah,
I mean, those comments can be kind of like, you can get lost in them, like, you know what I'm saying, like you can comment on something, you don't know what last
week, like like how the comments can really like,
it's actually like really crazy, like, you know, you always see a comment and then you can't find it again, they're not in chronological order or whatever, really. I don't know, but yeah, no, I could see definitely a misunderstanding in the comments section.
So she just like kind of came out with an apology, being like, she's like, obviously, like, I don't know what's going on, like, I don't know the truth, I'm sorry, like, she's like, don't be hurtful to like me or Bella, she's like, obviously, like, I don't think she's like just deleting this because of me or like whatever, like she's a wonderful person, and I think this is just a misunderstanding. So
yeah,
You know?
Well, what about our girl Kylie, the self-made billionaire?
She's, you know, her company is still like worth billions of dollars, and she sold 51% share in it to this company called Coty, who they own, I think they own like some of CoverGirl, or like they own a couple of other like Max Factor, a couple other like cosmetics brands. So Kylie's no longer the majority owner of her own company. But you know, she got a cool $600 million out of it. So like, I don't really think she's hurting. She's still worth billions of dollars.
Okay, but why would someone do this? Do you know why?
I don't really know her exact reasoning.
Maybe she doesn't want to run it as much.
I think she wants to take a step back. I mean, it's smart. It's a smart way. Like she
could still make money off of it.
She could still make money off of it. She's still gonna make a shit ton of money. It still has her name on it.
But
she
still
has,
though, that's weird to sell something with your name on it. And
so many people do that.
I know, but like, it's just like you don't have like the majority. Like they could do anything with your likeness at that point, right?
I mean, but she's doing shit with her own. I feel like it's not, I mean, I don't know the complete terms of it and whatever, but I mean, she still has like, I mean, 49% is like nothing to sniff at. So like, I think like she's going to be doing okay.
Yeah, but if it came down to decisions, being the minority owner, that means they can be like, nope, we're going to not. But I'm sure they'd want a good working relationship with the person that's the face of their company.
Yeah, so. I mean, especially like she's the reason why it's even as big as it is.
Yeah. Well, good for her. Congratulations. That's definitely, you know, a big check. I wouldn't mind getting one of those signed.
I think she wanted to take a step back a little
bit
spend
for
more
Stormy.
time with Stormy.
Focus on the family.
Yeah.
What's it called? A little quick hit, like from last week. Did you see like Kanye at Joel Osteen's church? Did you see what Kim was wearing?
She's like wearing like a turtleneck. She's been like following like some like.
Was it a turtleneck? I thought it was like a suit.
Oh,
did you see it?
I think
it was like
remember.
an overfit suit or something like that.
Oh, something.
Someone was saying she was looking like she was like gonna be in the NBA draft or something like that.
Oh, Jesus.
I was just wondering if you had seen it because it was.
No, I didn't.
I didn't know if it was real or not because most of the focus was on Kanye, which is crazy. Like it's just
I hate Joel Osteen.
I kind of hate Kanye now. Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
I hate Joel Osteen. Like I feel like anybody who like is. Like, you know, associating themselves with like him and like mega churches are trash, dude. Like I have no love for those. And so I just like people like, and Joel Osteen, you guys talked about it last week. Like he's like practice what you preach. Like he weren't going to help like people who are like refugees from like a hurricane, like and things like that. Like that's wild.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he like was forced to.
I didn't think Kanye could do anything that would make me stop like really like.
I know. I mean, like if we went back to like episode whatever where it's like art versus artist, and like you still were even like, I mean, it's bad, but.
I mean, this when the artist starts affecting the art, like you know what I'm saying, like it's got to be, it's just you know what I'm saying, like the Jesus King is cool, but like I like the Kanye that makes me like listen to his music a lot, but maybe I've just grown from it or something because like the Jesus
growth.
Yeah, I mean the nostalgia of why I like Kanye is still there, but he's not the Kanye I fell in love with and stuff. So you know it's just kind of crazy to see. I just wonder where this is gonna take him. This road because I mean now he's got everything you know that he needs, but
I mean I feel like I kind of agreed with what Natasha said last week about how you know like I don't really think what he's doing like with like whatever his like religious his Sunday services like and he had like the whole failing of brunchella and things like that. Like I just feel like it's like okay, so like you're just like really making money on people's relationship with God. Like it just seems like a little iffy to me. Like I don't really see him doing a lot of good. Like I don't see him out there. Like I mean, not to compare him to Chance the Rapper, but like Chance the Rapper, like you know, like some of his music is about how like he went from like his acid rap times to now being like closer to God and doing stuff with God now. And like Chance the Rapper actually is like in the community doing stuff and like you know. Giving shit tons of money to Chicago public schools or like
what has Kanye done for anybody yet?
Yeah, what has he done for Chicago?
What has he done
Kanye,
for anybody? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, he hasn't done a damn
like,
thing.
you're singing
That's
and
the
all
thing.
that stuff is not like...
He's still his selfish self. Like, he's really, like, trying to be, like, selfless and give himself to God or, like, whatever. I don't see it.
Yeah, me either. Well, what made you go, yikes,
I have, like,
V?
2 disgusting yikes moments.
What? What do you mean?
They're gross.
Okay.
So the first one is this viral video or moment or whatever of this homeless person pouring a bucket of hot diarrhea on this woman.
Why?
Because he was cracked out, I think. And
Okay, and what did the woman do?
she screamed and had a whole big reaction and had a news story out of it.
Oh my God.
It's disgusting. Like,
yeah, what's the other one?
But I had to include it because it's been like viral on the internet and it's so gross.
It, and I don't think I'd watch it.
No, it's gross.
Okay.
So MSNBC had blah 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 blah. Eric Swalwell, who is he's California's, what is he? Yeah, he's one of California's reps for and he's like on the intelligence committee. So like there's been all this stuff going on with impeachments, blah 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 blah. But so there was like he was on MSNBC and there's like this part of like him talking where it sounds like he's ripping the biggest fart.
Okay.
The biggest fart. And like everybody, like everyone like was like,
and the crowd?
Like, well, it was like him like on like corresponding like on like MSNBC, like just like, like they're like, oh, it's you, Eric, like kind of
Oh yeah, to him, all right. Yeah. And what happened?
And so like, all the internet's like being like what's going on and whatever. I
might have to play this clip real quick.
Yeah, play the clip.
Oh, I said it couldn't be played.
Taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election.
No way! That had been like
and so, like, I guess whoever,
switch back to the person.
like a reporter like asked him, being like, "Hey, like, was this you or was
this on Saturday Night Live? Because that looks like a Saturday Night Live
studio?" And I guess like Eric Swalwell was like, "It wasn't me." He's like, "I didn't hear it when I was speaking. It must have been someone at the studio." And the like whoever like texted him, being was like, "It looked like you heard it," or stifling a laugh. And he's like, "I didn't hear it."
He does kind of look like he's stifling a laugh, but it also sounds like someone moved the chair, like when someone like pulls a chair across the floor.
So it was this show hardball, yeah. And so like
that.
And so like they replied saying like
fartball, you said?
Hardball.
Oh.
And they replied saying they first did a reply of like the meme of Spider-Man's, like the two Spider-Mans like pointing at each other. No, you did it. No, you did it. Because they're like, was it back in the studio of Hardball or was it like in Excel? But they deleted that tweet. And then they tweeted again, said, "Sorry to disappoint the conspiracy theorist. It was the hashtag Hardball mug scraping across the desk back at the studio. Get yours today and let's get back to the news."
Yeah.
With a link to their store to get a fucking mug. Much like Kris Jenner.
Oh my goodness.
The devil works hard.
It definitely sounds...
But capitalism works harder.
It definitely sounds like something was being dragged. That's what I got from it.
Funny.
But it does sound like a hard fart. Like,
they've been calling it Fartgate.
Dude, that goes back to my original theory that it doesn't matter how old you are, farts are funny, dude.
Dude,
that's the name of the episode. I know it. Farts are funny, dude. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
And you know what? I feel like everybody farts, and I feel like we can all laugh about it.
Yeah. One time I asked somebody to fart, like be like. No, I'm just saying, just fart.
What?
No, they're like, no, I can't. I'm like, just do it. I won't judge you for it. Like,
fart now.
No, like, just do it. And then she did it, and then I just didn't like it. I didn't like it.
What the fuck?
I regretted asking. Oh, so don't do that.
You play the womp 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 after that.
The womp, yeah. That was sad. I'll tell you what, I wasn't. So,
Oh God!
but yeah, no.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's an immediate boner killer.
Yeah, exactly. So what are we talking about here for our mini main topic? Mini main topic.
Yeah.
That's the way that
It's
one
like
goes.
kind of funny because like we've both been like going through it, but we're both like still synced up. It's like we're both synced and like
Yeah.
synced in the shit right
Exactly.
now.
Dude, nothing like a fart to bring a friend together.
I want to talk about Will Smith and
Okay.
his definition of love.
Okay.
So he posted this video to his YouTube. As we all know, like Will Smith now is like some social media personality of like
He's
something.
like a motivational speaker at times.
Sort of, I
Yeah.
guess. Like I don't know. Like he's like a comedian at times. He's social. Like he's like a
He's not a comedian, that's for
no,
sure.
I mean not a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he did a video, like a 6-minute video on his YouTube channel talking about how him and Jada started a discussion about like what does love mean, what is love, things like that. And like what he brought up, and like I just wanted us to discuss it and see like, maybe what our listeners think and things like that. That love, first, like his like one main thing is that love could be spelled LUV, is something that he helps
This is
him
the
write.
acronym he's going
Yeah.
for to describe how love should really be, and it starts with listening.
Listen, and then understanding, like, people want to be understood, and then validating, like, validating what somebody is saying is true to them and true to their experience and things like that.
Essentially, he was saying like people have the definition of love misconstrued because like you can't even you can't make it starts with happiness. Like a person has to be happy, and you can't
control somebody else's happiness,
right.
You can't make someone else
you
truly,
can make someone laugh, you can make someone feel better, but you can't make them be happy. Like only a person can really. That's like
just like you can't really derive, like I feel like if you flip it on its head, like it's not good for you to say that, like whenever people are like, well, they make me so happy, and it's like you can feel happy like in a relationship, like being like I feel happy being around whoever, I feel like is a better way to phrase that, because it's like no one can, like, you can't let yourself rely on another human to make you happy. Like you have to be able to make yourself happy. Like you have to be able to like do that yourself.
And that's why I feel like a hater sometimes on these people that just promote their fucking relationships so much. It's like, dude, like, and you can always tell, like, it's like the girl that's like posting all the like the professional pictures and stuff of them like on the beach or just like walking their dog or something, and the boyfriend never posts stuff like that, like, what I'm saying, or the fiance or whatever, because it's like literally the girl is acting like she's in some like fairy tale where she found like her Prince Charming, and it's like this whole thing. It's like, dude, like, you're making it sound like your happiness is based off of this relationship. So if you guys like were to ever break up, like you're gonna be like done. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people need to. That's what I've been preaching. It's like, you have to really be happy with yourself. Like you can't expect to go into a relationship with somebody if you're like not happy with things about yourself.
I feel like you can't expect, like, and he says like you can't expect someone to like fill up your cup, and I kind of feel like I hate whenever someone says like my better half or my other half, or like we've talked about this before, but like you can't expect love being somebody fulfilling the rest of you. Like only you can, like only you and like what you can do and like what you do in life will fulfill you. You can't expect anybody else's actions to like fulfill you. And that's like not love. And it's also because that's like people have this bad, like this wrong idea of love, that this is what Will Smith said, that like, love, people think that love equals like desire plus pleasure. So it's like if someone's not fulfilling your desires or your needs or and those things, then like you don't love them. But if they are, you love them. And it's like you can't expect anybody to fulfill that part. Like you can't ever expect that. Like I feel like even in friendships or like family, like you can never expect your friends to always be like everything for you. You can't even, like, your family's your family and your family's blood, but you can't expect like your family to be like your everything. Like you can't expect it to be like what
right, even your
up
family, like you, like I only find happiness when I go. Like, no, we're individuals.
Yeah.
You are in control of your own life.
And like
you
your
know what I'm
family
saying?
can't fulfill all your needs.
They're gonna be gone one day. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's just like, if it's just you and yourself, like, you have to understand what makes you happy, and like get to the root of, you know, what your own happiness is. We all deal with it. Like, obviously we're not in the happiest of times at the
No.
moment.
No, we're not.
And it's not like as easy, it's as easy said and done. But you know what I'm saying? You have to take steps into getting happy, you know? And it's in everything. And like, even when you do get in that relationship where you feel like just last night we were having a conversation with a friend, and like, she just got married, but she's like very upset with like how her sex life is going right now with like,
Yeah, well, we got into some fun. Happy hours with us are fun, guys.
Hell yeah.
Giddy on up.
giddy up. But you know, like in those situations, like, you know, it's a matter, I think, of communication and like getting a lot deeper. Like, you know, traditional ways have gone out the window. We're in 2019 and people are into some different stuff now. You know what I'm saying? People are into different
And you
things,
can-
not
and you
just sex
can't-
stuff, but like everything.
And
like,
you can't expect people to like kind of going back to this whole thing, like, you can't expect people's like their pleasure being derived the same way that yours is. And
Right.
like, that's like, you can't expect them to then fulfill yours exactly the same, like exactly the way that you always.
Right. Adults are playing video games now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your husband could be playing video games all the time, and that's just the world we live in. You have to figure out how to communicate with your husband of like, maybe he's playing too much and it's like upsetting you. Like, how do you guys have to talk through that type of stuff,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? It's all communication. And that's where, like, yeah, I will listen to Will Smith on this one, because listening, like, those things are true. Like,
It's so
listening,
true.
listening is one of the first things that I've been really trying to, like, I've been on a couple dates or with a couple people, and people felt like I was cutting them off. It was not just like, I could say one person is just being an asshole, but another
know.
person is doing this. But
Your
when
girl
you hear
note feels that.
well, whatever. I feel like the same too. But like, you
I
know,
know.
that's the thing. Like, you know, you have to realize that about yourself. Now I'm hearing it from multiple different people. This is not like, it should not just, it's a common theme. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I must be cutting people off, like, you know, and to me, I'm just very excited when I talk, and I just have a lot to say about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have a podcast. Good thing I get it out here. But, but you know, so, and then the other thing was, the other two things I feel like go like really well with each other is the understanding and the validation. Like, literally, you know, something, when you told me yesterday about your situation, like, the first thing before giving your advice on things is to be like, I'm sorry, V, that sucks. That really sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like, a person sometimes just needs to hear that, like, you know, just to
Yeah.
be validated that, like, yeah, this does suck, right? Like, you know, overhearing, like, this is what you should be doing, this is what blah blah blah, like, this is what I was going through. Like, no, it's just like the validation and understanding that someone's going through a moment right now that, you know, and if I put myself in those moments, like, everybody else is telling you all these things, it just doesn't matter, because your head is clouded with all the memories and the good and the bad and the missing, and it's just like, sometimes you just need to understand someone and validate that, like, you are going through a really shitty time right now. And I know you are. And you know, so, you know, I think it makes a lot of sense to me, what Will Smith is saying. And I mean, taking those type of things, like, how do you think that, like, was in your relationship? You think maybe, like, the whole listening, and how does this affect what you thought was love?
I feel like, for me personally, like, in this moment that I'm in and like dealing with, I feel like what kind of like led to a fight that now has, I guess, my ex like ghosting me or whatever, is he wasn't listening to me. He was trying to tell me what I was saying, and he was trying to tell me how I was feeling and trying to tell me what that was doing to him, instead of just like listening to how I like felt.
Listening, understanding, or validating.
Yeah, like, yeah. He wasn't validating. He was finding any way to, like, you know, just validate himself as like not at blame, which isn't what love is. Like, I'm not blameless. I definitely did things that put me like in that weren't great for us or like whatever. But it definitely, and like kind of like some of the other things that Will said that like him and his daughter Willow brought up was like a gardener and flowers. So like, as a gardener, like, you want a flower to bloom how it's gonna bloom. You want it to be like the best it can be. Like, you're not like, you can't really control another living being that much. Like it's either you can.
I have my 4 plants over there.
Yeah.
You know, I was gone for like a week and a half, so I'm just so happy. I watered the shit out of them before I left. But
they're doing great.
they're doing good. But like, you know, I don't know what the way they're gonna look in like a couple months from now. All I know is that I want them to be green and thriving, and I water them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I have to water them before I leave. If I like really wanted to take it a step further, I'd give someone my key to come and water them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why don't you think about the person you love like that? You
like
know?
you want them to be thriving and doing well, and like I feel like maybe, you know, recently with like my situation, like I think he was like more being like, well, I want her to fit in this box. Like I want her to fit in like the space that, you know, fits for me. Like this is the space I have to fit. Like if she doesn't fit in that space, like then I'm having a problem. Just because like if I wasn't.
And and it didn't sound like a healthy space to be in.
No, because you can't like a plant, you can't like, you can prune plants, but like, you can't.
No, if I wanted to move that plant and said, hey, that plant needs to go over here in the room, like, it's going to die over there. It's not getting sun. It's not doing anything, like, you know what I'm saying? So I can't just pick and choose where this plant goes. It has to be in a place where it can thrive.
Yeah, exactly. And like I feel like sometimes like when you're in situations, you don't always know that you're like in a situation where you're not thriving, or like maybe it doesn't, like it takes a little bit longer to realize it. And like that, because you could be like almost like love blind, because you're like following the other kind of love, like the love where you think like, you know, like, oh well, they're fitting these like these desires or needs or pleasures or like whatever. So like I'm in, like we're love, like this is love, like this is fine. But it's like you, like when you actually like step back, then it's like, no, like if they really loved you, they wouldn't be, they're not just gonna maybe check some boxes. Like they're gonna make sure like you're doing what's best for you. And like sometimes like toxic people can say that too. Like they could say like, oh, like, well, I want you to do what's best for you, while still moving you in whatever way is convenient to them.
Right. And I was saying before it, I mean, people can, you know, put on a mask and a front about like trying to be the good guy for so long, and if they really aren't, like eventually their true colors will show. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Like, you know, when it comes to that, like I think that's probably why I'm very guarded in this moment. Like I've been single for a long time, so I'm taking my heart seriously. You know, I'm not just gonna settle for anybody. Like you're gonna know when someone's serious about you, and it just feels comfortable and all this stuff, like, you know. And
but it's even like I feel like even like in the discomfort, because like not all moments can be comfortable, like in a relationship or whatever, but even in the discomfort, like there's growth, like there's still
things to learn from.
Yeah, there's still the ability to grow and like move forward if like if like love's actually there. Yeah. Like because love is also like help, because like there is discomfort, like there is uncomfortable moments, there is struggle, there is whatever, but like it's finding those moments of like, how can we help each other? How can we, you know, meet in the middle? Or how can we, because like you can't expect somebody to do something your way always and vice versa, but you gotta make things work for each other. Like I, you know, you shouldn't be like, okay, I'm going to change everything to do it your way, or like, I'm going to change everything to do it your way. It has to be like, okay, what's going to work for both of us so that like we're both getting the things that we need.
Yeah. I mean, it's compromise. It's working together. It's, you know, but I do know that like you do love, you know, you do listen, you do understand, and you do validate. So I'm sorry you're going through this right now. You definitely don't deserve it. But I love you, and I'll always be here to listen and validate and understand you. So we'll move past this subject. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we don't really have any Bachelor drama.
Not that I know.
Well, I mean, I guess, did we talk about like well, I saw that you said that they released the new marketing for the new season of Bachelor.
Yeah,
right?
I put it up on our Instagram.
I was like, did we talk about that? But then I think I remembered it being like a post from you.
Yeah, I posted it on our Instagram, and more people said that the virginity. So I put it up on our Instagram story, and I put a little poll being like, all right, because the new stuff is all very much so like airplane pilot memes or like puns, and it's like, you know, like buckle up. Like, there's gonna be turbulence.
It's gonna be a bumpy
It's
ride.
gonna be like, you know, like, make sure that you can't check your back, like whatever, bullshit like that, or like stuff like that. And it's like I asked, like, I'm like, what's worse, all the virginity like drops and innuendos, or like the pilot puns?
I think I voted pilot.
And I think more people vote. It was kind of got close there. It was like close to 50-50 at one point, but more people were like the virginity innuendos, which just proves what I said last week in my little note, how virginity is a construct. It's bullshit. But no, so they're definitely like leaning into the like, he's a hot pilot. Like all of his promos have him like holding his like little pilot hat. He's got his like little pilot jacket on. I mean, how many flying puns are we gonna get with the entrances? The limos.
Yeah, like flight attendant. We know we're getting a flight attendant.
We're getting
right?
some flight attendants.
We're gonna get someone rolled up in like one of those like away bags.
Oh god,
you know what I'm saying? They're gonna come out of the luggage. Yeah. Be like, you can pack me up anytime.
Ew, God.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to join the Mile High Club. Like all that shit is coming. All of it's coming.
God.
Yeah. And be like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of
I think there was like a windmill in the background of one of the promos. Be like,
I'll put your mask on before I put my oxygen mask on. No? Sorry, I'm trying to think of anything.
And I feel like, and not even just the pilot stuff, they're definitely going to bring up some of like the windmill shit. Like people are going to be like, let's beat your record or like whatever. So.
Yeah. Let's go for 5 times in a windmill. Yeah.
Yikes.
No, that's crazy. So yeah, a little Bachelor news there. Well, let's talk about our slapper of the week.
Yeah.
Not much to say, actually, besides the fact.
Let's talk about it, and there's nothing.
No, well, Lauv. We've talked about Lauv before.
We love Lauv, and we also love LANY.
Well, LANY is actually one of like Natasha's favorite like groups and stuff. She introduced it to me.
Yeah, I know.
That was a slapper of the week on like her first episode, on episode 36.
Yeah. But look at that memory.
But yeah, she was actually the one. She was like, Lauv and LANY are gonna drop a song like right after we recorded. And I'm like, all right, well, we should have dropped that for like a little.
Yeah, bitch.
No, but it was actually a great song, and like she's like, and she was right. It was a good song.
Lauv. It is a good song. It's funny because like I was listening to his it's a little EP. I think it's like called like My Feelings Are Too Much Feelings. That has like this song on it, and I was listening to all of it because they're all like in your feels kind of songs. Some of them are like sad bops, you know, like where you're like, oh, a melody, but you're like, but I'm still sad.
Yeah.
So
he's really good at that. Like
he's really good at
hurt love stuff. But
I know I like added a bunch to my deep feels playlist. I was like, and this one actually really stood out to me because like I know we like both of these artists a lot, and I was like, this will go to my potential slappers playlist that I put like any ideas for the slappers of the week. And so
I think it's also relevant too because of the conversation we just had around the acronym LUV. It's missing the A, and you got Lauv. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, we love a great connection.
Wow,
thanks, Sai.
that was a reach, but we did it. So without further ado, why don't we just get into our slapper of the week? It's called "Mean It" by LANY and Lauv. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's go.
Mean it.
Slapper of the week. This song slaps.
Yeah, slapper of the week, "Mean It" by Lauv and LANY. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
It's just like one of those songs that just like, he's not singing hard, but the beat and the vibe, and you're just like, me right now. Yeah. That put me in a mood. Well, why don't we get into some shout outs? You got anybody you want to shout out, V?
Yeah, okay. I want to shout out Knip for coming into town. We had a blast.
Shout out Knip, I love you, bro.
And then I wanted to shout out my friend Rachel or Ray. She is Knip's like best friend from college. Okay. It's like we all got to hang out again together, and so that was a lot of fun.
Nice. Shout out to Ray.
I want to shout out my mama, because she's just great, and like, I mean, I can't not shout her out. And I want to shout out Mackenzie for, kind of like making me go to the Jonas Brothers concert.
Nice.
Like, I was gonna, but like, it was the nice little push. And then last but not least, I wanted to shout out my Lyft driver from Sunday night, Reynaldo.
Wow.
Because
Reynaldo.
let me explain. So, like, we had like a long Sunday. We did like Sunday fun day. We drank. We were out. We ended the night at Cafe Intermezzo here in Midtown in Atlanta because Taylor Marie had been out of town, but she got back in late at night. Well, not late, like at like 8. And so we all did like a late dinner and cake and wine. Because like she's friends with Knip and whatever, and so it was like kind of like a way that we could all see each other before Knip left in the morning. And on my like, you know, had been a rough weekend for me because like I had been around some mutual friends of my boyfriend and I, and like he wasn't coming or there. He had been texting some of them being like, oh, maybe he'll come meet up, and like, but wasn't talking to me. And so I was like in my feelings, you know, and I get into the car after like a long day of like drinking and whatever, and I get into a Lyft on my way home after having dinner and everything, and like I start sobbing. Like I'm in the car, like, and I'm sobbing, and like my driver like was talking to me and helped talk me through some stuff, and like he was so nice, and he like wasn't creepy or weird. He like stopped like when we got to my place, he like stopped, you know, like on the side of the road and like let me sit in the car for a while and like cry and like talk to him. And he was like, hey, like, do you believe in God? And I was like, yeah, like I'm not like hugely religious, but like I was raised Catholic and I do believe in God and I believe in like a higher power and things like that. And he asked to pray over me. So it was like just a really sweet thing. I'm like, sorry, I'm crying. But it was just like, it kind of shows that there's still like amazing people in the world. And that there's always kind of like, even the weirdest of places, there's people looking out for you. And so that was just like really cool in the moment that I really needed it. So, you know,
I'm sorry, V, that you're crying, but yeah, there are like fine. Some people, and it's crazy. Like when people ask you that question, like sometimes when you're really feeling feelings and someone asks you like, do you believe in God? It's just like, you're like, I don't know. Like, you know, people.
I know, but like, I knew I do. And I like, it was just like, and it wasn't like in any weird way. Like he wasn't like even, it wasn't like in any weird, like pushy, like he, our Lord and Savior kind of thing. It was like very much so like, and he like prayed over me, like being like,
it was in his bag of tricks to try to help, and not even tricks, but like to help people that are going through a moment.
And he's like, you know, like Veronica's going through a tough moment right now. Like give her the strength to get through it. Like give her the strength to know that she's better than this.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It really
shout out to him, man. Air horn for sure. Do you need a tissue?
No, I'm okay.
You good? Well, my shout outs, you know, I was in Orlando this past weekend, and it was kind of crazy because my friend Sterling was actually there in town again.
I know, like I saw that on your Instagram and I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome because like honestly, every time we hang out, we get like closer and closer. Like we just
I know, I feel like you guys have like rekindled your friendship.
Yeah, I mean, we've always had a friendship, but it's like it really blossoms when we're around each other. Like we realize why we're friends is because like we just get each other, and we have very similar interests, and we just like to have fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like one night, I think it was Friday night, we ended up like going out for some drinks with some mutual friends, and she got to introduce me to some cool people that we like ended up like staying up like till 4 a.m. in the morning, like hanging out with these people and stuff. So I wanted to give a shout out to them because they were really awesome. Specifically Alyssa and Anthony, we were chilling at their house and stuff. So shout out to you guys.
Love it.
And then I want to shout out to not the Michaela that I shouted out a couple weeks ago. Shout out to her too. But Michaela, our friend from Orlando, she it was her birthday yesterday. So, and we got to hang out with her too. So it was awesome to be able to hang out with everybody. So shout out to everybody.
You've got so many Michaelas that you know.
Yeah, no.
And they all spell their names differently.
Well, these two actually spell them the same, which is weird. But it's like Michael A. But
Michael A.
But yeah, no, I just like it was really awesome to be with Sterling. She's just like a dope ass friend. It's like one of those friends that you're just like, damn, I wish we lived closer so we could always party and stuff.
I feel that. I totally feel that.
You know, she's definitely out in San Diego, somewhere beautiful and stuff. So it's awesome. So shout out to everybody there. All right, well, So episode 87, it was definitely a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes.
But like, I love you.
I love you
and,
too.
you know, this is what, like we said, you know, sometimes we just got to be real with y'all. It's not always rainbows and sunshines, but it will get to that place. And, you know, I feel like we're lucky enough to have each other to be able to listen, understand, and validate
Amen.
week after week. It's almost like Veronica's everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get to work, she's there. You're like, can't get enough of me, buddy. Like, you know, because now you're like on our team and stuff.
I know,
so it's like kind of crazy.
You really can't get enough of me.
Right. So, and then we went to happy hour last night, and now we're potting. And so, you know.
Now we're potting.
So yeah, shout out to everybody going into this weekend. You know, love your friends, be kind to everybody,
love
and
yourself.
Love yourself, most importantly. And as we head into the holidays, everyone just be safe. We love you over here at Future Bachelor, and we'll see you next week. You know, actually, episode 88 is another important episode next week because, well, I always find this is weird, numbers and everything, but 88 specifically is the amount of miles per hour that the DeLorean has to go before it travels through time.
Know it.
Yeah, so
oh my
there might be a
God.
Back to the Future theme going on next week with
When
episode
isn't
88.
there?
I know, that's right. You know,
When
because
isn't there?
you know, with me being all talking about the future. Bachelor. Yeah, you know, so yeah, guys, make sure you lock in next week. We'll probably record early because, you know, the holidays, I mean, obviously, but she'll be getting a fresh episode on Thanksgiving, so that'll be pretty cool.
Oh yes, like when you if you
next week's our Thanksgiving episode.
Yes, like whenever if maybe you need like a little bit of space, or maybe if you're helping cook and like you just you're like, let's put something on, like
We'll
pass
be
the
there
time.
right there with you.
We'll be there
so
with you.
Maybe we should drop a day earlier. You know, I don't know. See if people driving home or you know, flying home. Maybe we'll have a little special something. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
I don't know. Maybe I accidentally clicked the wrong date again.
Yeah.
V hates when I do that.
I
but,
do hate it.
but whatever. You know, it's a special week. You know, I will do it. So guys, this has been Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And we love you, and make sure you love yourself. All right, guys. Deuces.
Bye.
I love you, V.
I love you too.
Future Bachelor Podcast.